So you hear the term hedge fund used a lot in the media, but what exactly is a hedge fund? So if you look under the securities laws in Rule 3C1 or 3C7 or 506B, the word hedge fund doesn't appear anywhere. And in the CFTC's rules, the word hedge fund doesn't appear there either. There, the word hedge fund is an industry term. It's not a legal term. And generally, it describes a way of getting compensated, not a strategy. So the traditional hedge fund charges what's called 2 and 20. So if you have $100 million invested with a hedge fund, which that would be a very small hedge fund, the fund manager would charge 2% of that every year and 20% on what they made on investing that pool for you. So 2% on 100 million is $2 million a year, and 20% on 100 million. Let's say that you did the average of the S&P 500 over the past couple of decades. That would be 10%. So that would be another 2%. So 4% on 100 million is $4 million a year. So you could see why, if you can raise money, even a small amount of money, like $100 million is very small for a hedge fund. Some hedge funds have hundreds of billions under management. But even with $100 million, you can make a really good living as a fund manager, charging the traditional 2 and 20 fund structure, even after fees. But the actual term hedge fund historically would mean that a fund does both long and short. And so they are hedging their exposure. And how would that work? Let's say that you're really good at picking stocks, but you don't want to just outperform the market. You want some downside protection. So it doesn't matter if the market went down 20% and you only went down 10%. Investors don't like losing money. So if you could have a strategy where if you can pick good stocks that either go up more than the market when the market goes up, or go down less than the market when the market goes down, that's very attractive to people. So think about it like that joke about the two guys who see a bear in the woods, and one of them says to the other, run, and he says, we can't outrun a bear. And then the first guy says, I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun you. Well, that's how a traditional hedge fund works. So you would pick stocks, let's say $100 million worth of individual stocks, and then you would short the S&P 500. So if the S&P 500 went up 10% and you're up 12%, you make money, right? Just like the bear and the two runners. And if it went down 10%, but yours only went down 8%, again, you make money. So the first one is easy to understand. You're shorting one and you're long the other. So you would lose money on the short, but you made more money on the long than you did the short. And the other one works the same way. So if the market went down, if you have that $100 million in individual stocks and that went down 8%, you lost 8 million there, but you shorted 100 million of the S&P 500 index. So you made 10 million on the short. You're still up 2 million. So that is a strategy that, in theory, gives you returns that are not correlated to the market. So if the market's ripping, you may lose some of the upside because you're protecting a lot on the downside. So that is the traditional meaning of a hedge fund. But in modern parlance, it can be a long-only fund. It can be different types of strategies. It's more used now as the 2 and 20 type of compensation, not an individual strategy. But if you have questions about that, I'll leave them in the comments below. And if you'd like to work with me on a professional or consulting basis, get in touch with me with my contact information on the site.